Good afternoon. As many of you know, my name is Ashley Corbin, and I'm currently enrolled in the Arkansas Tech University Professional Studies program. And for one of my classes, I was asked to conduct research this summer over a company or business or a nonprofit agency. And since I'm currently employed at the Charleston Public School District, I have chose to do my research over their current parent involvement plan. And during my research, I have looked up the background of the school district. I have conducted surveys and done research over professional references that most of them I have found online. Today present is my stakeholder, Mr. Shane Story, who is currently the high school principal here at Charleston High School. To put the problem in perspective of parent involvement, consider the facts. According to the date bank research, parents who are actively involved in different aspects of their child's school tend to have fewer behavioral issues, academic problems, and are more likely to complete high school. If you think about that, that's a huge step. Parents oftentimes think, okay, if I just send my child to school every day, drop them off, make sure they have the right school supplies, then okay, they're going to succeed. But there has been numerous studies done on the relationship between parent involvement and their child's success in school. Some schools have an enormous amount of parents that volunteer. A lot of this has to do with their economic system. There's more, sometimes in some states and cities, there are more parents that are able to stay at home with their child, which means that they are more apt to be able to have more time to volunteer in their child's classroom or in their school activities. In more rural areas, it's been shown that parent involvement isn't as pronounced because a lot of times both parents are having to work, and a lot of times school activities are only conducted between 8 and 3, 5 days a week. So this report just shows the importance of parent involvement, as well as a little background into the current parent involvement plan, and then it shows the research and the numbers, the data that was collected, as well as a recommended action plan on how to start taking proactive steps to better parental involvement here at the Charleston Public School Districts. The overall purpose of this project is to determine if the Charleston Public School District's parent involvement plan was implemented. Would this student success rate rise? It is important that Charleston Public School District research and understand this so that it fits the current involvement. This is so that if its current involvement plan is not successful, they can take proactive steps in changing their approach and better students' education, behavior, grades, etc. during their time here at the Charleston Public School District. Parent involvement plan problems. The current problems that I have seen and that I did my research on are the parental involvement plan has generated negative feedback from not only the parents but also the teachers and the community leaders. The school could be faced with a drop in attendance and state funding. Here is a link in for the current Charleston parental involvement plan, and in your packet that you have, there is a copy of the parental involvement plan, a copy of this presentation in case you can't see everything perfectly, a survey sample, and a copy of the report in its entirety. Research methods and procedures. For this project, I chose to conduct a survey. I had administrative discussions with all 3 school campuses, which included elementary, middle school, and high school, as well as the current superintendent, Mr. Jeff Stubblefield. I've had conversations with numerous parents, and I've completed a report analysis. And here is a link to the survey that can be also found online as well as in your pamphlet. This is just a few of the survey questions. They were mainly all yes and no questions, and the parents could take it online. I sent it out by email, and I also posted it onto social media sites such as Facebook as well as Twitter. And that's how I got actually a lot of mine back. Since it is the summer months, it's really hard to find parents here on campus because their kids are not going to school at this current time. Here's some more samples of the school volunteer opportunity survey questions. And again here, if you can't read all of the words, it's included in your packet if you would like to look those up. Here are the survey results. These are yes and no questions. The no's are in the green here, and then the yeses are in the orange. I know that this is hard to read, but it's also in your pamphlet. As you can see, most of the questions resulted in no's. Okay, after conducting the research, I really took a step back. I looked at a lot of other examples of area schools' parental involvement plans, as well as I read several online articles about steps to take to better your parent involvement plan and also the importance. So after taking all of that into perspective, the recommended action plan that I believe that CHS should implement. One step would be to plan parent school activities at different times throughout the school year. So this means not just having it from 8 to 3, 5 days a week. So many parents nowadays are working, sometimes they don't get off until 5 or 6. So if a meeting could be closer to 7 or 8, and maybe really look into, okay, what's going on. A lot of people in this area, they attend church on Wednesday nights, so make sure you avoid Wednesdays. Several parents go to football and basketball games on Thursday and Friday nights. So you have to take all that into perspective when you plan activities for your parents to attend, and that way more parents can show up. The next step I would suggest is to hold an annual meeting at the beginning of the school year to inform parents of the district parent involvement plan. It was really surprising when I did these surveys that almost not a single parent knew that CHS had a current parent involvement plan already going here at the school. They kind of looked at me like, I've never heard of that. And when I showed it to some of them on the website, they were like, I've been to the website several times, but I've never seen it. So if they could hold an annual meeting at the beginning of the school year and kind of hand out maybe a pamphlet or a brochure of the parent involvement plan, then that would help parents to understand, okay, the school does have a plan in place and they are serious about getting everybody involved in the kids' education. The next step would be a positive invitation in a language desirable to the parents to explain that the school's commitment and the parents' right to be involved in the educational process of their student. A lot of parents, when I had discussions with them, they didn't feel like they were really included in their kids' school's education. So maybe if the school really sent an invitation or invited these parents and said, yes, you are welcome, yes, we want to hear your feedback, then they would be more apt to state their opinions. This change would make it easier for parents to, really understand that they are welcome and that their voice, does want to be heard here at the Charleston Public School Districts. Another step that I recommended is to provide brainstorming sessions at least once monthly to provide parents the opportunity to share concerns and desires and to better improve the school's environment and student achievement. This again goes back to the parents needing to feel welcome. This can be done at the superintendent's office where all the parents are welcome. It can be done by campuses, and it can be done also, you could split it up every month maybe into the grades, the August, all the kindergarten teachers are the ones that are planning it and implementing it. And that way it's not all put on one staff's shoulders. And so it's more split up. And the cost of this is relatively zero. It's an extra 30 minutes a month for the staff that is already currently here. Another change that I have really thought that I've read from other schools' parent action plans is to describe or to give the parents a description of how their child is evaluated and the curriculum that they are given each year. And this can be very intimidating to parents that, a lot of them are not teachers. They don't understand the language of curriculum and the standards. So if it was broken down easier for them and how the kids are being evaluated and how their students, how the state testing goes, I think that they would be more comfortable to ask questions and say, how can I help? And it's not so intimidating, the language that would be used. And this change would make it easier for the parents to understand fully the way that their children are evaluated and assessed in the classroom. And then it's very important that this explanation be written in a way that each parent will be able to easily read and understand. This goes back to this, and also to provide a description of the proficiency levels that students are expected to meet. So what does an A or a B mean to that teacher? It's not just a grade. I think it's important that every teacher really explain that this is how I grade, this is how I evaluate your child, because every teacher is different. The next one was the brainstorming sessions that we talked about earlier, at least once monthly. And also this goes back to the first one, make these brainstorm sessions at a time where everybody is able to come, or at least most. Okay, the benefits of this action plan, they're really countless, but what I have noticed the most in my research is that by implementing these changes, it makes higher student achievement, which is always important to both the school district and the parents. It improves behavior. It rises that you see a rise in standardized test scores, which is not only important for the student and the parents, but also for the funding for the school. These go hand in hand. Higher funding support, increase in morale, so just the overall sense of community within the school is very important. Builds a sense of community and commitment to not only the parent and the student, but also that connection with the teacher. It improves attendance rate, and it has effects on a healthier parent and teacher relationship. This is the criteria for the recommendation. You have to look at when you're going to implement something, is it feasible? Is this appropriate approach and effort for this environment? The benefits provided by the action plan consist of a number of effective strategies that not only help the parents and students, but also the faculty, including healthier parent-teacher relationship, attendance rates, improved behavior from students, and much more, like we talked about in the previous slide. The cost, how much money is needed for this from the district to fund this initiative. The real dollar cost to make this change is relatively zero and will be carried out by the current administration and staff. So like I mentioned earlier, break it up into different grades, different teachers. That way you're not having to hire an additional person to carry out these changes. This is a really good quote that actually our superintendent quoted on the parent involvement plan that is located on the school's website. It says the district shall strive to develop and maintain the capacity for meaningful and productive parental and community involvement that will result in partnerships that are mutually beneficial to the school, students, parents, and the community. I think that this is probably a great way to start one of those brainstorming or annual meetings. It really shows that the school is behind its kids and parents. Here is a list of the references that I have used. It can also be found in your pamphlet that backs up the research that was done for this project. And at this time, if any of you have any questions, comments, or anything you would like me to elaborate on, please do so. Thank you for your time.